more familiar with Steve Francis than we are, following Steve's 5 seasons out west with the Houston Rockets. But the more we watch him, the more impressed we are by this Magic point guard, who in the flow of Johnny Davis's fast break offense is laying the foundation through 24 games for what could be a career year. He and Cuttino Mobley forming the 3rd highest scoring backcourt in the entire NBA. Take a look at his numbers this season and in comparison to 5 previous years with Houston. And he's on track for a bust-out campaign. 20 against the Spurs in the first go-around, 31 Sunday against Miami. We asked for his thoughts on the reason for his consistently exceptional performances.
I mean, as far as points, these probably close to one of my highest points average a year, but there's so many things that go into it, you know, getting the ball in the right position, you know, even having other players on the team who are able to draw double teams, Grant, Cuttino, even some of the guys, Dwight on the block, and I'm able to, you know, get a lot of swing outs.
Opposing teams to the line. Steve Francis trying to score for the first time tonight and does. At least from the field. He made 2 free throws earlier in the team for San Antonio. You look at this team on paper and you wonder why they're so good. But it's players like Bruce Bowen that sometimes are the difference maker. As Ginobili gives them the lead. Francis! Steve-O! Taking it strong to the basket. Oh, man. That might break him out of that little shooting slump he's been in here tonight.
How did he do that? I don't know how he did that. He's a good player. A good hard take by Steve Francis coming alive, and the Magic are up by 1.
The remainder of the holidays. Here's how he did it, Matt.
Well, crossing over Bruce Bowen, talking about what a good defender Bowen is in the half court, but he's concentrating on Grant Hill. He wasn't ready for Steve Francis there, but that's stop on a dime type of action. I don't think any defender could have stayed with Steve Francis in the open floor situation there. Trying to stick out his leg or elbow, trying to draw a foul there from Mobley.
All Steve Francis all the time.
This right here is something that I can really relate to, you know, interacting with kids. And there's a lot of times that I, you know, even do stuff without, you know, really letting the public know. But I think something like this is important so people can know that, you know, hey, you don't have to be the richest, you don't have to be the poorest. Sometimes you can, you know, do events like this yourself, maybe in your neighborhood.
Steve Francis and ho, 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 it's Steve-O. As Orlando, once trailing by 7, now leads by 6. Highlights and the numbers just ahead on the Dodge Halftime Report.
The Spurs keep working the basketball around the zone. Shot clock ticking down. A tough shot. Well defended by the Magic. Francis 2-on-1 with Mobley. It's all Steve-O and the foul on Ginobili. Working against one of the top on-the-ball defenders, Bruce Bowen. Francis hounded by Parker. Inside to Batiste. Catch and shoot. Playing an aggressive brand of defense on Francis, who still manages to get the shot, and it's nothing but net. This third quarter, almost a carbon copy of the first period, where the game was in San Antonio's favor tempo-wise. The steal by Francis, the layup by Nelson, and we're tied.
Everybody just throwing it up for grabs, seemingly.
Francis with a strong drive, does not get the whistle this time, and scores anyway with Duncan defending.
And now another delay of game. And that time, Steve was definitely fouled, probably on 2 occasions. But we talked earlier about during the timeout. Steve got hit from behind by Tim Duncan, and then the slap away by Francis, upset at not getting the call. But back in the third quarter, and the free throw shooting woes of the Spurs continue. Back in the third quarter, the timeout, great players surrounding him, and he, from time to time, will get some turnover-itis when he gets pressured, but made a good pass there.
Francis dodging Duncan and a foul. He is spectacular.
And hearing it from the crowd, that's Steve Francis, creative as ever, getting in the paint, little head and shoulders on Tim Duncan, knows that Tim is an outstanding shot blocker, knew he had to come up with something special to get that shot off. Able to catch up with those passes, extremely difficult to do. One of the reasons why they're able to do it, they're bending their knees.
Oh, Francis Mobley, the Houston connection. Big fourth quarter for Steve Francis. He finishes with 29 in the game. And he's standing by with Paul Kennedy.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Steve, a week ago, you let it get away in the fourth quarter. Tonight, you took over in the fourth quarter. What was the difference?
It was important. The last couple games, we weren't able to close the games at the end. But I thought yesterday we did a good job at practice executing end of the game plays.
At the outset tonight, you couldn't buy a shot. Cold in the first quarter, you went scoreless.
I think it's good if you stick with it. I mean, I put up so many shots in practice. You see me shoot around before and after practice. So, whenever I get a chance, I'm going to put the ball up, and I'm going to help my team.
What was the pivotal point in the second quarter? I remember Hedo Turkoglu's shot right in front of their bench. Your fast break points were clicking. You were dominant there in the second quarter.
I thought it was good when our subs came in. Turk did a good job. Jameer picked up the pace. And, once we were able to get our starters back in, we did a good job.
What does this win say about this team in your 25th game of the year against a San Antonio team that, as you know from your years in Houston, is one of the premier clubs?
It's still premature in the season. I mean, it's only our 25th game. We beat a top team in the West. We had them over at their place, but, we were able to close out in front of our fans.
Yesterday, you spent the day with children. Here it is now, Christmas, in a couple of days. So for you to relax and enjoy the holidays with family, friends.
I get to go home and see my family. So Steve-O's excited about that, and I can't wait to get home.
I saw the guys do the Steve-O with their hands over their heads when you went weaving through. What did you see there? What did you see when you went weaving through?
It was an opportunity. It was an opportunity to get to the basket, and we all want to get to the basket. We want to take advantage of it. My free throws been dipped the last couple games, but if we can win it, I missed 15 free throws. I'll take that.
Well, you get a win here tonight, your 15th of the year. Congratulations, Steve-O.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Steve Francis with a huge game for the Magic. 29 points after going scoreless in the first. And for the first time since 2001, 7 straight setbacks, Orlando has knocked off San Antonio.